I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down? He should calm down.
I saw he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he wants. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please, just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber!
Wilder! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You're not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got drunk, man. Are you kidding?
No, you won the fight.
OMG, I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up? What is up? MCR family, another daily edition of the show live on YouTube. Obviously, smash like button, share the show, subscribe. If you listen on podcast form, drop that 5-star review. I am Matt, the hipster hunter. Obviously, joined today by the great, the illustrious Mr. Robbie Hearns himself. Gonna get through a ton of topics. AJ, Dillian Whyte, Jarrell Miller. The love triangle continues. In a lot of ways, going to break down the recent reporting from Mike Coppinger about whether or not the Whyte fight will happen, whether or not the Joshua Miller fight will happen, and more. Plus, obviously, the Thurman Lopez review. Jaime Munguia also fought this weekend. Tons of topics, tons of news to get to. Like I said, smash like button, share the show, subscribe. Rob, like I said, the illustrious second cousin, twice removed from Eddie. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
You safe from the blizzard?
You say again?
I said, are you safe from the blizzard? Are you okay?
Yeah, it's been and went. It's all gone now. But yeah, some news. Miller receiving the offer. Apparently, they're like $1 million away from making the deal, and Wembley looks like it's possibly off the cards because it only leaves 11 weeks. Or something like that. So is the Whyte fight completely done, and we're definitely getting Miller? So we'll talk about that. We've got Thurman numbers and all kinds of stuff, and the fights to obviously discuss from the weekend.
Yes, Rob, can you do me a favor? Can you can you jump out and jump back in? Yeah, I was doing that little feedback thing. But as Rob is jumping in and out, as you guys are looking double me, Mike Coppinger, like I said, let's get to the reporting as Rob jumps back in. Mike Coppinger saying, sources, Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte is dead for April 13th at Wembley. If the fight happens, it would be at a later date, less than 11 weeks, not nearly enough time for a proper training camp or lead time to promote heavyweight title fight of that magnitude. Rob, quickly, because we do have, other aspects of this report to get to. Like I said, we get to the Miller stuff. But briefly, what was your thought when you first saw this? Because I'll admit, I was kind of shocked because it seemed like all the rumors of the last 3 days prior were, the Whyte fight is getting closer. The Whyte fight, he has another offer. It seemed like that one was closer to being finalized, and all of a sudden, Mike Coppinger's coming out here and saying that no, the rug has been pulled in a way, and that fight is dead for that Wembley date. So what are your thoughts about this particularly?
I'm not sure. I think Whyte might still be in the hat. I think AJ's been training anyway. I think Dillian's been showing that he's still training. He's ticking over. We've seen him on the bike. We've seen him doing, certain things. But I still think there's time for it. And to say, what would it be, like 3 months? February, March, sort of bit of April, so 11 weeks. I think it's time. The minute this fight would be announced is more than enough time to promote it. It's instantly, they'll do a press conference as usual. They haven't got to go all around the country. to sell this one press conference in London or on the pitch at Wembley or whatever, you know, at Wembley Stadium, and it's done. It's kind of promoted. Then it's down to, you know, Matchroom and Sky putting it out on TV and things like that. So it's kind of, I don't see that it's not enough time to promote it. So I'm not sure on obviously Coppinger or whatever's got his sources, but what are those sources? Are they feeding him stuff that's maybe not true? I don't know. I just still feel Whyte could still be in the mix, but again, we just took a massive, you know, detour on who is Joshua's opponent next. So
yeah, and it seems like another detour after another detour after another detour. Like it's never been a straight road in the last a month or two for an AJ fight, at least in terms of like the negotiations or the headlines of the negotiations. But attached to this, obviously, was, again, per Mike Coppinger, Jarrell Miller receiving another offer, or at least a first offer, for about June 1st in New York. This would be on the Zone. It would be, obviously, AJ's U.S. debut. Per the reporting, it's a multi-million-dollar offer of some sort. But like you said, Rob, it's not finalized. They are at least a little bit of money apart. And even I think Big Baby has come out and said it's Big Baby. He's kind of like Tyson Fury, where he says a lot of stuff, and I don't really believe most of it. I think he came out after this report and said I got an offer, but when I get 50-50, the fight will happen. I think he literally said that in another report on Boxing Scene. So
Big Baby says stuff, you mean bullshit?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So in terms of that 50-50 stipulation, I think that's bullshit. But I do believe Mike Coppinger is reporting. I believe there was an offer to Big Baby now, and it's the first offer. I believe it was a multi-million offer for June 1st in New York, mainly because also that is consistent with all of the reporting of the last month when it does come to a Big Baby fight. Rob, so what do you think is going to happen here, man? Like I have no idea at this point. I'm thinking Miller, but I've been flip-flopping. I've sort of recognized that. Like, I was thinking about it before the show. I'm like, man, I have said back and forth, I think, we're probably going to get the Whyte fight. We're probably going to get the Miller fight. I've said those two things back and forth on numerous shows, and they're both semi-probable, and I don't know. Rob, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first of all, when you say he's been offered a multi-million, hopefully that only means 2. Because he doesn't fucking deserve it, full stop. I get the reason behind it is to give AJ his debut, but that doesn't mean we've got to bend over and give him fucking $6 million or some shit like that. So you get multi, I hope that means 2. Yeah, and as far as what's next, I guess
hold on. Why are you counting his pockets, man? Why are you counting his pockets?
Because that seems to be what... I don't care. No, I know, but it seems to be what everyone does these days. It's like, he's not worth that, he's not worth that, he's worth this, or he's worth a little bit more. Like, we all know the projections of how the fight's going to do, like these number crunchers behind the scenes, and we're all those experts, right? So, it's, I don't know, but at the moment, I'm definitely now leaning towards the Miller fight, but I'm not completely dismissing the Whyte fight still being an option and maybe happening. I sort of felt that, we heard Dillian said he was meeting Eddie and Sky. Now, obviously, that doesn't necessarily mean the AJ fight. That could be them looking at his next fight because it's not AJ. So, who knows? But I'm sure the Joshua fight was mentioned in that meeting and what was happening. Whether another slightly improved offer went in, who knows? But yeah, at the moment, I'll probably guess that we're looking at Joshua's US debut, Madison Square Garden against Big Baby Miller. I think June 1st, was it the date that was mentioned, possible? So, so yeah, I'll be looking at coming over to catch that one if it is. Obviously, with reports that the Barclay Center...
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
I'm sorry. I had to. That's Rob low-key saying he's coming for everyone. Mountains do move.
All right, yeah. Bring me that smoke, or I'll bring the smoke, whatever. But yeah, obviously in light that apparently the Barclay Center is maybe favorite for the Wilder Fury.
Oh no, we're gonna get to that later, so don't worry about that.
Okay,
don't worry about that.
No, I'm just saying, as far as fight fans from here traveling to America, obviously the East Coast is the shortest option, the cheapest option. Maybe not the great, touristy, plenty of shit to do while you're waiting, while you make a holiday of it. But as far as traveling, booking somewhere, going to the fight, it's probably easily, the cheapest option for a UK fan. And I think it's safe to say, I think the support will be there. There'll be a lot of Brits in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, American fans, you better buy those tickets quick because there's going to be plenty coming from this side. So, yeah, it looks like Miller. Like I say, I'm not. See, part of me is like excited by it because I think Miller's going to do a great job in the promotion of it.
It'll be great. I'm going to love it.
I think he can really. Probably better than anyone at the moment. I think he'll prove to be the one that really pushes Joshua's buttons more. And I think that might even reflect in the fight. I think we might see something quite possibly explosive from Joshua, like try and really make a point. But who knows? But but the other side of me is like, fucking Miller doesn't deserve it. What's he done? Why should he have this shot? Whyte should. So part of me is pissed off at Whyte because I think he's just... all this.
You think it's Whyte's fault? You think it's Whyte's fault that the fight's not getting made, or is it just a matter of scheduling? Like, hey, look, like it's either gonna now we have to push back the Whyte fight, so that's gonna happen either in June at some time, right? And maybe they can't get a site for that, and they're saying, hey, look, let's just do the Jared Miller fight. Maybe it's just a bigger picture thing more than, hey, Whyte has an ego, Joshua has an ego, Miller has an ego. Maybe it's just Sky, Eddie, Matchroom, and maybe AJ Boxing like that. Them as a whole collective saying, look, just. This is the best plan. This is what we can do right now from a logistics standpoint. You know what I mean?
Maybe, but how? Yeah, I get you. I get you. But how long has this been going on? It's all right. Miller, Dillian Whyte saying, "I deserve a shot. I want a shot." Well, you've been offered one, and apparently £4 million worth, which is what I think like $5.3 million for obviously our American listeners. So, we've heard purses for voluntary challenges just recently, Ortiz, $500,000. I know there's all this, money behind the scenes that, you come drive around the back, you get your extra, you get your extra money, pick it up at the back.
Yeah, but there's no way Ortiz made $5 million. Like that's just.
No, 500,000.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, even with the backroom money, like, there's no way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. They might have given him another 500 or
maybe $1 million, maybe. You know.
And then obviously we know the Tyson Fury got $3 million purse. Obviously, split of the pay-per-view or whatever.
Yeah, he allegedly paid $8 million purse to the homeless. I just don't remember that ever happening.
Yeah. But,
I'll say it.
Yeah. A lot of people have, Matt.
I'm not the first. That's true. I'm just putting it out there. But just jump in. I think, again, I think it could be a compounding issue. I think, obviously, we had a prolonged negotiation process, so to speak, of the last month and a half with AJ Whyte and Miller in some capacity, even though this is Miller's first official offer. However, I think that was like there's legitimate gripes of negotiation there. If they came to the final agreement of the money term, so to speak, for Whyte, and it just so happened that it came too late, those could be two different issues. You know what I mean? So I'll be honest, I'm also way more in favor of a Miller fight for AJ than I am a Whyte fight. Not because I don't think Whyte deserves it less. I think he far, in a way, has earned it more than Miller. I think that's obvious. But purely from a selfish standpoint, like you said, I want to see Miller and AJ in a press conference together, have to be put together in a media circuit because, like you said, Miller might be more equipped than anyone in the division to push AJ's buttons, and not just AJ's buttons, but everyone's buttons. Like, Miller's just that guy that aggravates everyone in the division. He much more so than Tyson, Tyson Fury, much more so than even like Deontay Wilder in an aspect, or Dillian Whyte, Chisora. Like, Miller's in a class of his own. He has just been fighting no-named Eastern Europeans that we don't care about. So that's why he hasn't really been able to show it at the the big stage. So I'm all in favor of a Miller fight for obvious reasons and selfish reasons, because it would be a fun build-up. And part of this sport is to have fun, and I get it from a sporting aspect. Dillian Whyte far deserves it more, but from just a fun aspect, give me Miller and AJ, because that would be insane. That would be a plexiglass moment, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, like entertainment-wise, people are going to be definitely wanting to tune into that press conference, into that weigh-in, and seeing the face-offs, and just what can get said, because we've seen it already. Just a little glimpse at the DAZN thing, and they had to kind of be separated, and Joshua definitely lost his cool and was, cussing him out, and Big Baby Miller was doing the thing. Then we heard him say about, "I'm going to take his mama out," and don't talk about my mama. Your mama this, your mama jokes. Hashtag 1995, or whatever year White Man Can't Jump was.
That probably was around 95, 94.
Yeah, ish. Who knows?
Definitely when I was like born, and I saw it like 10 years later.
Goddamn.
On a VHS.
But yeah, but also on the same point, I think Dillian Whyte can certainly, turn it on in a press conference and say some shit. But yeah, and I get some people think that, it's a new look. We've seen the Whyte fight. I know that still doesn't mean he doesn't deserve, if he's built himself back up, to get in that position, but a completely new look in Miller. And let's be honest, UK versus USA has always been, good to tune in. And maybe the UK haven't come off, I'm sure if you go back and tally it up, we're quite some way behind in results, probably. But it's always nice when a Brit can get a win over, a Yank.
And plus, it's indirect build-up to a Wilder fight. It is. Like, it completely is. And I feel like that's obvious. Do I really need to spell out how AJ coming to the U.S. in New York City fighting Jarrell Miller is a build-up fight for a Wilder fight? Like, everyone should understand that, right? Like, it's him coming to the biggest media capital in the world, which is also the place that Wilder has made his second home for fighting. He's fighting a loudmouth U.S. heavyweight who's arguably, if you really want to think about it, probably the second best U.S. heavyweight in the world. Like, I haven't really thought about that too much, so don't quote me on that, but that's very close. I think it's a natural precursor to what the Wilder fight's going to be. So I'm all in favor of that. Same way as like Wilder Fury, I think, is natural build up to an AJ fight for either one in that case, obviously.
Yeah,
and I think.
Do you feel? Say we get Joshua deals with Miller, and then we get the winner of Wilder and Fury. Do you think we see Joshua and the winner of Wilder Fury 2019 back end of the year? I think it depends.
We could. I don't think it's out. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities. It depends on a couple things. White and Brazil, not them necessarily connected to each other, but them independently or actually connected. Either one, right? Those two guys are going to be the monkey wrenches, so to speak, to that unification happening at the end of this year, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. If Brazil and White fight, that's a clear number one contender that I think is going to fight Deontay Wilder next, so to speak, or the winner of Wilder Tyson Fury. I think they're just going to have to. I think the sanctioned body will sort of put the front on the pedal for that one, so to speak, and that'll be it. But for AJ, I think he'll be pretty much cleared up. I know the WBA is doing whatever they're doing. I don't believe they're going to do it. I don't think he has any sort of pressing mandatories at this point.
The WBO is apparently going to be due September, October time, so that might be an issue.
Can you quickly check the WBO rankings and see?
Dillian Whyte is number one, but it could be Usyk
if he moves up. That's yes. No, you're right. Yep.
Currently Dillian Whyte, which is why people were saying he should take this now, because apparently I looked into it. There was I think it's 80-20 split for WBO mandatories. So I don't know what money would be in that fight to then see what you get as a 20% split, but I don't think it's a million miles away from what he's offered already. So.
They can always negotiate outside that split, though. You know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that will be fundamentally an issue. But again, I think back to your question of can the winner of Wilder Fury and the winner of AJ Miller theoretically happen this year? Yes. Is it the most likely thing? Gun to my head, probably not. I think it's probably the first fight of next year, in my opinion. I think it's going to be probably in April, May, June 2020. We get a Wilder Fury versus an AJ Whyte, Miller, whoever of those groups, and that's how we have this unnamed, unspoken of tournament happening right now, and I'm okay with it, to be completely honest. Any other thoughts on this, Rob, or we can move on? Because we do have a ton of stuff.
I'm going to wait for, I'm sure Eddie Hearn's just done a press conference in Philadelphia, and obviously interviews will drop later, and this will be the main topic of conversation. There won't be too much asked about Tevin Farmer versus John O'Carroll. I'm sure it'll all be geared around who's AJ fighting, what about this offer to Miller. I know certain people will be saying, you lowballing motherfucker and this, that, and the other, but we'll see. We'll wait and see what gets said, but I'm sure that'll be tomorrow's show.
Yes, that is definitely true. Let's get to the fights that's happened this weekend. Start with Keith Thurman versus Josesito Lopez. A fight that turned out to be obviously far more difficult for Keith Thurman than what we all thought it was going to be, and I think also what it looked like it was going to be. The first few rounds, Thurman was looking dominant. Even though he was still looking rusty, he was dominant, knocked down Lopez. And then I think, it became a 12-round fight, and Thurman hasn't had one of those in some time. And looks like he hasn't really been training the best, to be honest. On top of that, Lopez caught him in that 7th round, changed sort of the complexion of the fight. He won, I would say, the 8th round, arguably the 9th as well, maybe the 11th. And he put on a good account for himself in the second half of the fight. But still, Thurman easily won this fight, in my opinion. But obviously, this fight has been a huge sort of beacon of hope for all of the Thurman haters, which is fine. I mean, he didn't look good in this fight. And we compared it on our Boxing Banter episode on patreon.com. /Mixed Combat Radio. Dan, one of our good patrons from Paris, called in, and we talked about comparisons to Floyd Mayweather coming back, Andre Ward, Mike Garcia, and are they really great comparisons to be had? And definitely go check out that show. I'm not going to get into it again here, but this was a bad showing for Thurman in a lot of ways. It was good for about 6 rounds, and then it went downhill. And Thurman looked human. And in today's welterweight division, that's not the greatest thing to be looking right now. Right now, Spence is looking absolutely like a Terminator. Crawford had a tough fight, so to speak, with Jose Benavidez. And look at the change of public perception on Terrence Crawford since that fight, honestly. This was a bad showing for Keith Thurman from a public perception standpoint, more than anything. He does have a hand injury to some extent. Hopefully that's not an extreme injury, and hopefully he comes back soon, because that Thurman Pacquiao fight, which we're going to get to later, looks to be getting pushed behind the scenes, and that would be a great fight to see for a lot of different reasons. Rob, your thoughts on Keith Thurman looking human against Lopez?
Yeah, I've not been quite so critical of it. Obviously, 2-year layoff, injuries, this, that, and the other. I thought he definitely tired. The engine wasn't quite there. His legs weren't quite, what they were. But I'm sure he's gonna rectify things and get things, back into the swing of being a fighter again. So I guess the court's out on it. Is he back? Is it the same Thurman that we saw before, the layoff? That's always going to be up for debate after such a long layoff. When a guy comes back, is it the same guy? Oh, he didn't look it, but is it ring rust? So there's all those things to kind of, people will make their own mind up. I've seen all arguments of it. this week on on social media their thoughts on it. But I thought he looked good. Maybe certain things were a little off, not quite on point, but I was expecting that. I thought Lopez would be sort of durable. And yeah, that 7th round, he stuck it on him, I don't know why, but I think Thurman thought, I can use my legs to get out of this. Don't need to put my hands up in any way, shape or form. But that's when he found out his legs weren't quite there, But I've got to say, I mean, I don't think Lopez is particularly a huge hitter, but Thurman's got a chin, some of those shots were fucking crisp and hard shots, and he took them well. I know there's images of his, it looked like he was almost knocked out standing up. One of his eyes were in all kinds of different directions, and obviously we saw Steve Willis loving the action all over Twitter. Everyone's like, is it me or did I miss most of the Thurman fight? Because I was watching Willis refereeing it, because the faces are just classic. Someone's like, he's a pay-per-view referee. He doesn't need to do other referees. Pay-per-view, But he just loves
very quickly, Steve Willis, he is a legend, man. Because every time he refs a high-level fight, the memes. God, if I know some people in our chat aren't really tapped into boxing Twitter or boxing social media. But God, you have to be just for Steve Willis fights, because those are fucking hilarious. God bless Steve Willis. And also, I've had the pleasure of meeting him, talking to him several times, and having a drink with him. Very funny guy, hilarious individual.
He's actually, someone pointed out to, I think it was Keith Idek. They was say he commented on Steve Willis and this, and they said, "Someone, have you seen his stand up?" And they posted a YouTube clip, so he's actually done stand up. So. Yeah. And obviously, you confirming he's a funny guy. That obviously doesn't surprise you that he's done stand-up. But yeah, I would just wish he was mic'd up as well. Fully mic'd up, because it sounds like when you see his face, he's going, "Ooh, damn! Oh shit!"
I just want, I just want a 4K HD camera that's part of the crew on him 24/7 on any telecast. That's what I want.
Yeah, I mean, we used to, I don't know if we still do, but on football games over here, you used to be able to press the red button and you could go on player cam and shit. There was different options through the Sky.
There needs to be a Steve Willis cam.
Steve Willis cam with audio, everything. But yeah, back to Thurman quick. Like I say, I'm not completely he's shot or this ain't the same guy. I think we need to see another fight. And like you said, the telecast, the post fight, even before he was on Instagram, this all seems to be geared around Manny Pacquiao and the belief that he's not going to be able to lure Floyd Mayweather back out of his 20th retirement.
And just quickly, because we're talking about, just to add to it, and then you can jump back in. Per Sean Gibbons and boxing scene, Pacquiao Thurman deal can be done quick, says Sean Gibbons. Obviously, Sean Gibbons, a manager, who is, I don't know what the relationship really is with Manny, but he is everywhere with Manny Pacquiao, it seems nowadays. And it does look like Manny has left Michael Kuntz, and he's sort of with Sean Gibbons in some capacity. For example, I mean, when Pacquiao, I should say when Mayweather ran into Nasukawa or ran into Pacquiao or whatever in the nightclub, and they set up the rematch with the tune-up in Japan, Gibbons was there, and it kind of happened. Gibbons was at the basketball game when Pacquiao ran into Mayweather, and he filmed it. That's how we got the footage. You know, Sean Gibbons has sort of been everywhere with this story and with Pacquiao. So I would say I believe what he says when it comes to this story. If he says that Pacquiao Thurman deal can be done quick, I believe that. Even though I think Sean Gibbons is sort of a crazy individual when it comes to other things in life, when it comes to this, I believe him. And Rob, your thoughts? Pacquiao Thurman, does it seem basically all set in stone at this point?
Yeah, I think so. The fact that it was the name mentioned straight away on the post fight with you know, who next? You know, obviously Manny Pacquiao, blah blah, and it was like leading him down that road to obviously him to say, yeah, you know, who wouldn't want a Pacquiao on their resume or sort of thing. So, with this, because of Pacquiao being attached, is that pay-per-view?
Well, I mean, you sent the clip, and I'm not going to play it because it's Bob Arum being old ass Bob Arum to Marcos Villegas of Fight Hub, and basically saying like, oh, the Broner Pacquiao numbers are fake. They didn't do nearly as good as that.
He said, "I know for a fact that they didn't do 400,000 buys."
It's the same guy that said, "I know for a fact Al Haymon doesn't exist." So like, I don't believe, like, it's high off his ass, Bob Arum, off that good Vegas weed. Because trust me, I've been there, good Vegas weed. And he's just, he's doing his thing. He's talking shit, stirring the pot. He's one of those. He's like, before there was Tyson Fury, before there was people like a Joe Miller, Dillian Whyte, people that wanted to see the world burn, it was Bob Arum. Bob Arum was the original, wanted to see the world burn, sort of Joker-ish, character in entertainment. So come on. I think that for Pacquiao Thurman, back to it, I think it will be pay-per-view. Why? Because I do believe the Pacquiao Broner numbers were around 400,000 or more than that. Why would I not believe that? And Bobby, let's be honest here. If you're coming out and saying that Pacquiao versus Broner can't do 400,000, don't come out here and say that Crawford Khan did 1 million buys and blow smoke out of our asses after that fight. Please don't do that. Save us the trouble of making fun of you, Bobby. Don't do that for us, please.
I'll say it now. I know for a fact it didn't do 1 million buys. I'll do it now. That's fine.
Anyways, Rob, back to you.
But yeah, Thurman Pacquiao, I like it. I think that's it seems like the right fight. You know what I mean? Because I don't think anyone thought, wow, Pacquiao is full on back to his greatest, or this is the Pacquiao of old, right? People still go, yeah, but it was against Adrian Broner who landed 50 punches, but I wouldn't say Pacquiao looked like phenomenal or anything like that. And we can say Thurman didn't look. So I think it looks like a natural fight to make to me. But what the fuck?
Are we back?
I don't know.
What was that?
I don't know. I thought you froze up. I'm just chatting away bullshit about Manny Pacquiao and stuff, and
my entire system just crashed. I don't know what happened. I think we're back on YouTube. Rob can quickly go check on YouTube if you can. I don't know if we're connected on Blog Talk anymore. That was weird. PSK, are we back? Oh, they can hear us. Good. Okay. I assume you guys can see us now. Oh God, that was odd. I totally threw off the show, man. I'm like, what's happening? The entire system crashed. Anyways, Bob Arum did that to us.
I can't believe I dropped that exclusive, and now I've just been told I can't drop that exclusive. I have to retract it. But wow, that's amazing news, right?
That was weird, man. Like that. That just threw me off. Anyways, sort of back to fights, I guess. Well, let me check out Blog Talk really fast, see if that's working. St. Tiago saying YouTube is not good. Blog Talk not. You guys can't see us. That's what they're saying. Let me check.
Oh.
Let me check really fast.
Yeah, Vicky's just said she couldn't see us. She can't see us either.
Let me see. But they can hear us. That is odd.
Someone said the Bob father is shutting you geezers down. I always forgot it.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Somebody's saying that. It's our buddy. Everyone refresh your page. If you guys can't see us, refresh the page. It's I think it's working. Oh no, I don't know. I don't know what's happening over here.
Oh, I can see you with a refresh page.
Yes. Everyone refresh the page. Let us know if everything's good over there.
Thank you, unemployed.
Okay.
Free Fights TV. You got a beard cut.
Yes. Wow, that was very, very odd.
Matt had a beard at the start of this one.
I know the stream's kind of cutting in and out for everyone right now, at least visually. So I may just split. I'm gonna go to the thumbnail just so it doesn't do that. And once the stream is a little more healthy, you go back to seeing us. Rob, back to back to the Thurman Lopez fight before Bob Arum shuts down the show.
I think it's a terrible fight. If Bob, you're bitter about it, I completely understand.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Bob. Broner Pacquiao definitely did not do 400,000 pay-per-view buys. I 100% agree with you.
I think it done I nearly said as bad as Crawford. Whoops, my bad. 50,000. No, but yeah, I like the fight. Thurman Pacquiao. It seems that's the route they're going, and yeah, I think it's a natural one to look at next.
Anyways, digressing to the rest of the card, though, Adam Wanaki defeating Jared Washington via TKO in the second round. Holy shit! This was rather impressive. I gotta say that, Rob. Well, you don't think it was impressive, really? Oh, I know what you're gonna say, but let me run down my thoughts before I get to you thinking that
you big up Kaunaki.
Yeah, I'll big up Kaunaki. Then you shit on him. Yeah. Look, Jared Washington is not a great boxer. He is.
Whoa, that was my line. That's where I was going. I thought you were bigging up Kaunaki.
I am. He doesn't know how to deal with distance and range. He's never been able to do that. To expect him to have would have been ludicrous. He's a guy that came from college football that has, I don't know, lost every significant fight he's ever been in. So I wasn't expecting much, but the quickness of which this fight finished, that was the most impressive part. I always expected Wanaki to win via TKO in this fight, maybe decision, but it was 2 rounds. It was insane. I gotta give him credit for that. Just the rapidness of how quickly he got that guy out of there, regardless of Jared Washington really just being like a borderline top 20 heavyweight. Still, I think speaks volumes to how talented Wanaki is when it comes to his combinations, when it comes to his accuracy, and also the power he has. I don't think that we can sort of just overlook that. Now, Rob, your thoughts on the fight and how much Wanaki sucks?
Not that he sucks, just how much fucking Washington sucks. What kind of game plan was that?
He doesn't have game plans.
He had Kaunaki cut, and then he decided, but I know, I'll carry on trying to get in a war with him instead of just using a jab, boxing at range, winning rounds. He's like, yeah, let's fucking have it. Let's have a tear up. Oh shit, I'm on my back again. Clown. Go back to college football or whatever you do after college football.
I don't know, coach high school football when you fail in the NFL. I don't know.
No, sorry, I don't want to take too much away from Kaunaki because
that was impressive. Like if this was, I'll put it this way: if this was like in round 8 or round 9, I'd be like, okay, whatever, right? Like you did what Big Baby did, right? Like okay,
yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting, sort of a mid to late rounds sort of stoppage maybe. Although half of me thought, I don't know, Washington 5-1. It's a heavyweight fight. But luckily, I didn't put the money down and have that bet. But yeah, Kaunaki, he's I think in those 2 rounds, 3 more punches than Broner in the entire Pacquiao fight. He seems to have that. It doesn't look like he's built for speed or that, but he seems to have some kind of engine, and he throws a bunch of punches. And to say impressive 2 rounds. And a quick shout out, I think. At first, when the referee let it carry on, I was like, oh my God. But I think that's just because we've got used to like stoppages in a way. But I've seen so many fighters give a shout out to that referee for giving Washington the opportunity. No, a bunch of fighters have said like, shout out to the ref because, that's not how we want to go out, but I guess, fighters' safety are kind of should be paramount, but he gave it that little chance, but he was right on point to instantly jump in and say no. He gave him that little glimmer of
stoppage was fine. Stoppage was fine. I don't think there's really like any story behind the stoppage or anything we need to take. It was a fine stoppage.
It seemed to be noticeable. A bunch of fighters were like, great call from the ref. He didn't just from the knockdown because he got up real wobbly. He's kind of staggered around, and many refs I think would have gone nah,
Okay,
just stopped it there then.
Cool. King Tug versus Claudio Mareo. I thought this was a fun fight for what it was. King Tug has been a guy that has quickly coming up the ranks, massive amateur pedigree, And shout out to Claudio. I mean, he did quite well in this fight. I thought for a B side that we really didn't know, he performed quite well. Like, he showed some boxing skill in this fight and gave King Tug probably his toughest fight to date. King Tug is still the guy that went out and beat was Oscar Escudon in like 3 rounds, and knocked him out. That is quite impressive. So the fact that we had a guy like Claudio Moreo who gave him some trouble and we didn't expect that, credit to him, credit to the B side there. I've seen people sort of pump the brakes on King Tug based off this fight, but I think he is still on the fast track. I will not be surprised in the next 18 months he fights a guy like Gary Russell Jr. or Leo Santa Cruz. I think he is completely, not completely ready, but he is very close to being completely ready for that level of competition, in my opinion. He seems like a world-level talent at only being 11-0. So, similar like Teofimo Lopez. It's time for the fast track. When they're beating good competition and they're beating them well, it's time for the fast track. And quickly, I did not see the Chris Cobra Lil B-Hop fight. I still have not seen some of those prelims. I do apologize. I'm a huge fan of Lil B-Hop. So, Lil B-Hop, if you're listening, no discredit to you. Huge fan. Just been busy with life and everything like that. Have not been able to watch it, but that's definitely on my to-do list. Your thoughts on the rest of the prelims, Robert Hearns?
You definitely check out Chris Colbert's fight. He looked great. I thought he looked really good. He was just on point. He always is. He looked great. I think he had bright pink hair for breast cancer like awareness or something like that. So shout out for that. He was looking. He was there with the comb, throwing it up, and it looked good. But Tugboat. I don't know. I'm not convinced on him massively just yet. Maybe see him in a step up again. But yeah, the opponent proved. It was like, well, like you say, a good scrap to watch. But maybe I expected a little too much of Tugboat. But I'm trying to think quickly what else was on the card.
Obviously, Marcellus Wilder lost. We should sort of mention that his first career loss. But there is no footage of it, so we really can't speak on it. I will say this from my time of seeing him in camp, because I have seen him in camp training. This was before his pro debut. He was a very raw fighter. Like he needs time. Obviously, he's also fighting very low competition as well, but a lot's expected of a guy that doesn't have an amateur pedigree. You know what I mean? Like he is big because of his brother, not because of him having this long amateur career like a Ryan Garcia even, or a Devin Haney, or Lil B-Hop, King Tug, like the names we mentioned for big prospects. Those guys have 200, 300, 150 amateur fights. I believe like Marcellus only had like a couple amateur tournaments and then jumped straight into the pros. So
who's his brother?
Deontay.
Fucking around. We don't know him either. No, I'm only joking.
Wilder likes me. Like I don't know why you gotta get me in trouble.
I'm not getting you in any kind of trouble.
You don't know that. You don't know what messages I get.
You ain't getting in no trouble.
Damn it. The cursor's way over there.
Give him my number. It's all good. What was I going to say? Yeah, apparently, from what I've heard and certain reports, he was winning the fight, like absolutely dominating. And then this William Dietz, there you go. Who would have thought we knew the name William Dietz for whatever reason? So
I'll say this: I won't remember it in a few months. I'll be honest.
I mean, look, we wouldn't have known it if he wasn't fighting Wilder's brother, right? So that's why it sticks. And obviously, we've got this whole sort of UK, USA, Wilder, Joshua kind of thing. I mean, we know him as well because he was sort of telling Bellew he was going to beat Bellew and shit like that. So a lot of this stems from like the, you reap what you sow kind of thing, and he's got laid out. But I believe he took to Instagram. I think it's up on Fight Hype or one of those channels of him, saying he's going to stick at it. He's not, it's not the end of the line. He's not going to quit. He's going to get back. And this, it's boxing. This kind of thing happens. And he said he got knocked down, and I think he said he jumped up too quickly, and he was very unsteady on his feet, and the ref waved it off. So, no footage. So I guess he could have said whatever he wanted.
That's probably good. That's probably a good thing, honestly. Like, I think guys that he should be fighting at the club level. You know what I mean? Like he should be fighting in rinky-dink,
being funny, but
athletic centers. What?
Not being funny, but like Deontay.
No, yes, no, you are absolutely right. Deontay, even though he had a bronze medal in the Olympics, mainly due to him just being an athletic talent, like him just having natural talent, right? It's not because he had a deep amateur pedigree and skill. I think he only had around 30 or something amateur fights, right? But he was like you said, he went through the club circuit for a long time before he came to the world level. I think there is some benefit to that. You can find old footage of Deontay in really rinky-dink areas, fighting, and that's completely fine. That's acceptable. That's what you're supposed to do sometimes. Marcellus, though, he's been on big Showtime or Fox undercards. I don't think that was the smartest idea.
Yeah, and look, he was supposed to be coming over to the UK on the DeGale Eubank card, and Deontay was coming to watch him, and I guess that's kind of probably not happening because obviously he's taken a knockout. So I don't know if he'll be allowed to fight. Maybe he would, being in a different commission or whatever over here. But yeah, like you said about Wilder, we saw him. I think it's like his 11th fight or something like that against that really massive fat dude. The Dusty Nichols or whatever his name was. Where it looked like Wilder.
I don't think it's Dusty Nichols. I think that's from a movie or something like that. Maybe like a stripper name in some comedy movie. I feel like. But anyways, digressing.
It sounds it right.
Isn't it like Nicholson? I think it's like something Nicholson.
Dustin, I'm sure it's like Dustin Nichols.
Anyways, regardless.
Yeah, but that looked like it in some, like little mini sports center. Not many people in it.
Like a high school auditorium.
Yeah, or like a basketball gym or something. With a few sort of bleacher style seats around it or something. But yeah, thrust straight in there under the name Wilder, because of the brother. He's been on these big undercards. But I mean, I must admit, from the photographs, it didn't look like there was, thousands in attendance at the time. It's not like it was witnessed by many. But
no, but the media's there. You know what I mean? Like there's
yeah.
I mean,
that was instantly reported.
Yes.
And when would we have heard anyone on it? Because this was like, when did it get reported here? It's like obviously as soon as it happened, like 8 p.m. here, so it was like 3 p.m. Eastern time or some shit. It was like probably like the first or second, like the doors maybe hadn't quite fucking opened properly, but it was instantly reported. Dan Rayfield, his Wilder's brother, this, that, and this. So that's instant pressure.
Anyways, hold on. We've been talking about Marcellus Wilder for way too long. I apologize. No offense to you, Marcellus. Very nice guy, but you're 3-1 now. We need to move on. I do apologize. I will say this. I think it's in your best interest to go to a smaller promoter like a Holyfield Promotions, who is more region-centric to the South, and start your career there. Restart, hit the restart button, hit the reboot, and go down to South Carolina, Georgia, that area, your neck of the woods, and fight there under, again, a smaller regional promoter like a Holyfield Promotions, which I think would make a lot of sense and still be off TV. I think that is important for a bit. Not everyone can be a Shakur Stevenson or Teofimo Lopez. That's not meant for everyone. Not everyone can have that route, or a Lomachenko, for God's sake. It's okay to take the slow route. But digressing from that, we need to move on. The DAZN card, Golden Boy, Jaime Munguia versus Takeshi Inoue, and Jesus Rojas versus Zuzcan or Zuzan or Susan, as I think Rob will call him from now on.
Yeah.
Those two fights alone, they were worth the $10 a month. I will admit that. Also, mainly because I can't find links of them on other sites for you, Rob. So I would have had to buy DAZN just to see these fights.
Yeah, I've watched Munguia and
Anyway,
yeah, I've seen that one.
but anyways,
Little clips of others.
digressing. These two fights were amazing. Like both of them were fantastic, all action fights. Let's start with Munguia versus Inoue. Munguia was in trouble in this fight. I'll be honest, I still have not really like sat down and scored this fight. I've watched it a couple times, but just sort of like enjoyed it. But Inoue was in his face, landing combinations. And Munguia, at times, I'll be honest, was working the jab quite well. There's times where his footwork has obviously looked like it's improving. And plus, I mean, shot for shot, I mean, they were being able to match each other power-wise. This was just a fun fight. And I did not expect Inoue to go at Munguia that hard, that consistently, and also be able to keep it up. I saw scorecards out there of it being a draw, of it, people scoring it for Inoue as well. I'm not going to sit here and say that those people are crazy or anything like that. I have not scored the fight. What I saw in the fight, though, was a tough test for Munguia. And you don't have to go back and say, okay, how can I improve my footwork even more? How can I improve my defense even more? Because offensively, I thought he was doing some really good things. I thought his jab was quite well. I thought his combinations were quite well. I thought he was countering quite well. I thought his accuracy has improved. But defensively, footwork-wise, in terms of just parrying and blocking shots, that can be improved upon, of course. And but fantastic fight. Rob, your thoughts?
Yeah, I've seen sort of a breakdown of this, and I kind of agree with it. Suggesting that he wants to go back and work on things and become a boxer puncher rather than just sort of a come forward heavy hitter. And I saw I can't remember who it was that done the breakdown, but he suggested that Munguia needs to sort of box at a little bit of range because his shots seem to have more weight on them, coming from a slightly longer distance rather than Inoue was just like in his face. And it was like, although they might have looked heavier shots, I don't think that's the peak of Munguia's sort of power. Like the power wasn't quite generated because he was like in the pocket so much, rather than if he could just be at that little bit more distance. And
also on the retreat a lot too. He's not coming forward. He's not able to generate that power as much, most likely.
Yeah. Yeah, we've obviously seen him when it like with Liam Smith, like that body shot, that's sort of from a sort of mid sort of distance and really sort of not winging it in there, but just having that sort of leverage behind it. So yeah, they seem to be pushing this whole stepping up to 160 thing. I'm not sure, unless he's really struggling on the weight, then I guess there's not a lot you can do. But if he's really struggling for weight, then fine, move up. But I don't think if he's not, I don't think it's quite time for him to step up there. I know DAZN have got 160 and these champions need fights to make, but I'm not sure that's the greatest career move just yet. But then on DAZN, he's kind of in the Charlo situation, if you know what I mean. The
opposite side, yeah.
Yeah, he's on the wrong side of this boxing street we keep hearing about. He's sort of on the wrong side of the street, and hang a left and take a right. DAZN. It's are we gonna see any of these PBC guys come and get it on DAZN? Because is Munguia like exclusive on DAZN, or can he go over? But obviously, as part of the Golden Boy thing, he's underneath Canelo. He's kind of the next one, right?
He is. I think that's the issue. I think I agree with you. If Munguia, from a health perspective, can no longer make 154, then please move up. I completely recommend that. I respect that and understand that. I'm also in favor of it because I'm in favor of fighters fighting at their most optimal weight and the most healthy weight. But if that's not the case, please stay at 154, regardless of him being on the wrong side of the streak. I think he will be a more efficient fighter if he can stay at this weight just because of his size. I think he would be more dominant potentially at this weight. 160, he becomes a little more average in terms of power, in terms of size. That becomes an issue potentially just due to his game plan. However, the good thing about him maybe moving up to 160 is that it is sort of, in a sense, a second chapter to his career or another chapter to his career where they can sort of bring him back down competition-wise and then build him back up because he is a very young guy. Regardless of him being a relative draw for Golden Boy, because I mean, just because Golden Boy doesn't have the most deep stable, he is probably the second biggest draw on that stable right now, let's be honest. But they can drop down the competition level at 160 and build him up a little bit more, not from a draw perspective, but from an experience perspective. The kid is what? Younger than me. He's what, 22, 21 years old? Like, he is a very young guy who still has a lot of experience to be had before he goes and fights the Jacobs of the world, the Andrade of the world, whoever it may be. I forget who was exactly specifying this. I don't know if it was him on the telecast, but I forget how it was presented. But I know on the telecast it was brought up him moving up to 160 and fighting Demetrius Andrade, obviously because of the WBO factor, and you can just become the instant mandatory when you move up a weight class because you're the WBO champion and face the other WBO champion. I'm not in favor of that. I think that would be a very bad mistake from Munguia. And it's not because I think Andrade is light years better than Munguia, but I think he is better enough. I think he has enough experience and with tough, durable guys, enough experience dealing with guys in his face that Munguia will have a lot of trouble dealing with the boxing of Andrade at this point. And that, I think, should just that would be jumping the shark, so to speak, of his career. And I don't think that would be the smartest plan for Golden Boy, DAZN, Munguia. But I do see the benefit of moving up to 160 from a very general perspective. Rob, anything else on Munguia, Inoue before we move on?
No, just a real fun fight, back and forth, a real good.
All the fights this weekend were really fun, to be honest. Like, we really didn't have a bad fight.
I think that from what I've seen, it's been that was for DAZN subscribers. This was a good fun boxing but good card.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice, especially when. I mean, I said from the face off and everything, I was like, "Fucking hell, this is ridiculous," But I think it's time, if people aren't on board with it, that Asia are producing some, fantastic. I'm not saying Takeshi Inoue is going to be some kind of unified world champion or anything like that, but they've got some tough, really good, fighters on the circuit right now, and it seems to be an upward curve for a lot of sort of Japanese and Asian and fighters. So shout out. You want to get your guy a tough test, put him in there with a Japanese guy or a Chinese guy or something.
And it's been that way for a very long time. I think because of just the access to international boxing has just risen in the last few years. I think it's becoming more well known to the casual fans. But moving on, speaking of Chinese. Zhu Shan defeating Jesus Rojas, and God, probably a early contender for fight of the year. It probably won't win it at the end due to I need a knockdown in a fight of the year, honestly. Like, I need some sort of dramatic moment of the fight, right? Even though all action-wise, this was insane. The amount of combinations they threw back and forth. Zhu Shan also, I would say, being able to outbox, outmove Jesus Rojas, outvolume him, outpower, outjab him. Like, Zhu Shan was absolutely lights out impressive. He showed us so many different layers to his game that even though I vaguely know Zhu Shan, like I wasn't really peeped on him like some people were. This was a illuminating performance for Shan. I think he can come out here and give a lot of guys at 126 pounds trouble. Like, you put him against Warrington, Valdez, Leo Santa Cruz, Gary Russell Jr. I want those fights, like, now. Like, give them to me now, please. Because those are all going to be really fun, entertaining scraps. Rob, your thoughts on this fight? And I mean, how impressed are you with Zhu Shan, aka Susan?
Susan,
you got to pull up the clip. Send me the clip again so I can play it.
All right,
you got to do that. No, you give your thoughts first, and then send me the clip.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Yeah, it was yeah, real fun fight. You know, a big shock. I don't know what the betting odds were before that, but you know, I'm sure a lot of people made some good money that were onto this guy. But yeah, again, you know, a real good. So that's like co-main and main event turned out to be real fun fights, and you don't necessarily get that very often in you know, on a boxing card. That, you know, you go sort of through the card and it's all been fun fights. So yeah, just wanted to keep, and like you say, the fights that are out there potentially to be made, you know, yeah, sign me up. I'm down for those. You know, he's really looked the part, and great interview afterwards. You know, it was really it's really bless him. You know, trying to get his English out there. You could hear the interpreter. And
Well, I mean, the line of like, how are you so durable? He's like, because I'm Chinese. Like, that was amazing. Like, that was honestly like a golden line. It was like
that was broken English version of saying, because that's how we roll, motherfucker. You know,
yeah,
what I mean?
like that was perfect.
What we do. This is my people. You know.
and like, to his credit, like, Chinese boxing has taken a really hard rap for a very long time. You know, Zhu Shiming was supposed to be the one to buck the trend of, you know, Chinese boxing, you know, and sort of the stigma it has as being the lesser of Asian boxing regions, you know, Japanese, Korean, Thai boxing, Filipino boxing. Those are all by far and away more respected regions to produce talent than China. And again, Zhu Shiming, you know, a guy that I believe he won a gold medal in the Olympics, you know, who had a ton of hype around him. Bob Arum was pushing him heavily, and he just, you know, petered out of relevancy due to eye injury and a loss. Like, China needed this one, so salute to him, man. Like, again, Zhu Shen. I'm really mad I can't find the post-fight interview clip. We send way too much shit to each other. I think that's what I've now figured out, Robert. But anyways, I digress from that.
I'm sending it you now.
Ooh. AKA super producer. Quickly though, I mean, I will talk about Virgil Ortiz just because I know Gary is out there listening and he wants us to talk about Virgil Ortiz. I don't get the hype around him. I'll be the one to say it. I'll be the one to say it. Not that he is not talented. He absolutely is a talented guy. Offensively, I think he's a good power puncher, good combinations, good jab. But really, I mean, I don't see levels with him. I see a durable guy that has a very high basement, but kind of a low ceiling, athletically, skill wise. So good performance. I mean, he finished what's his name, Jesus Valdez. I think in between rounds, in between the 5th and 6th round. Again, it was an all right performance. I'm not going to be one sitting here saying like, oh, Virgil Ortiz, he's the greatest prospect in the world. Rob, have you seen this fight at all?
No, I haven't seen it, so I can't really. I haven't seen a lot of him, to be honest. So.
Yeah, I am Shushan. I can.
I am Shushan. And Rob sent us, it's Susan, guys.
Yeah,
that was
Shuzan.
word for word our group chat.
I am Shuzan. I can. It was like, because it was all like, is it you can, Zoo can Zoo, and all this. And then I saw you and Fugati going back and forth with it, and you were calling them casuals because BoxRec had it as Zoo can. And
No. BoxRec has it as Can Zoo. Yeah, whatever. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, and it was being reported backwards, left, right, upside down, back to front, everything. I'm like, well, let's just see what the main man has to say, and it's Susan. So,
last few topics, ladies and gentlemen. Our phone lines are not working because we did have that issue that brought us down. But we do have our international lines, which domestic callers can also use. Email me mixedcombatradio@gmail.com to get a free international and permanent call-in link, or Skype at Mixed Combat Radio on Skype. Rob, let's get to the last topics of the day and get on out of here because I'm kind of hungry, as usual with every show. Hey, podcasting, it works up an appetite. But anyways, Wilder Fury rematch heading to the Barclay Center April 27th or May 18th per Keith Idek. I know Mike Compinger has come out, I think it was last night or today, and said, no, Vegas is still in the running in some capacity.
Keith Idek, if you read into that article, he says it kind of also says the same thing, that MGM Grand are also still in the running, but I don't know why he went with such conviction behind the Barclays, has kind of got it. But
anyways, regardless, I think it's probably because most likely it will be the Barclays Center. So Rob,
so what does that tell you? What does that tell you instantly?
What do you mean?
What does that suggest to you that this isn't a super fight or a big fight or massive?
No.
I think the big ones end up there, you know. Vegas. I mean,
I think there's a couple things to this. I think obviously PBC, Showtime, they get a very big site fee from the Barclays Center. They have a relationship with them for obvious reasons. On top of that, I think this could also sort of be a slight compromise for Tyson Fury in a way. Tyson Fury obviously wanting the rematch to be in the UK. I think this is in a way a compromise to that.
Yeah, some kind of
I think obviously Tyson Fury is going to get a very even monetary split. It may not be completely even, but it's going to be very close to even. And also, the fight being in New York City, I think, is beneficial to a UK fan base that's traveling. I'm going to assume flights to New York are cheaper than flights to Vegas. I'm going to assume accommodation is cheaper in New York than it is in Vegas. Could be wrong about that. I'm also going to assume that as like a touristy location, New York is far better than Vegas. Like, I'll say it. Come on. Like, if you want a party city, New York is still that. There's plenty of clubs, plenty of bars. It's the city that never sleeps. It is is Barclays Center. That does have a little bit of, for UK people traveling in, just so you know, that's not in Manhattan. It's in Brooklyn. So you might
does it not sleep because of all the blood curdling screams of horror and gunshots and things like that? Is that why it doesn't sleep?
No, New York's a very fun city. You've been to New York, have you not? Or I know you've been to Vegas.
Yeah, I've been to Vegas. That's it.
That's it. Okay. No, New York's actually pretty calm, pretty chill, especially nowadays. God, like if we're talking like the '90s and the '80s, I mean, sure, of course, but it's 2019. Shit's gentrified. Come on.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I've watched a lot of movies.
I'll put it this way: Vegas outside the Strip is far more scary to me than any of like the dangerous areas of New York. And I've mistakenly got lost in some of those bad areas. I'll tell that story for Patreon one time. How I got lost in very bad part of Harlem, and I needed some security, and some people helped me out to get through the city.
Wait. So you were lost in New York.
Yes.
Did you set up some like traps and come up with some kind of?
Are you trying to make a Home Alone joke? I'm very confused here.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Well, fuck off.
Was there a lady in the park with pigeons?
Oh my God, I hate you. Anyway, Sullivan Barrera accepts offer to face Artur Beterbiev. I love this fight. This is gonna be a fantastic all action fight. Also, sort of attached to this, and last topic of the day. Oleksandr Gvozdyk to defend title March 30th in Philadelphia. No opponent attached to that yet. Though maybe in a later show we can maybe have some conspiracy theories about, it being in Philly. Who could it be? But digressing from that, Rob, your thoughts on ESPN and their light heavyweight schedule as of now?
Yeah, looks good. Looks 1 minute we thought it was all on DAZN, and next thing you know, it ain't. But yeah, no, I think we're getting to a point where we're going to really start seeing. Obviously, we're thinking we may be close to like the heavyweight division, really maybe lighting up, and the top three maybe starting to mix it up soon. But the light heavyweight division's like been this like sleeper division, and now it's really could just like really catch fire if these guys all fighting each other. I know we got is it Kovalev and always struggle. No, this was Alvarez. Kovalev-Alvarez rematch this weekend, right? Is it?
Yes.
Weekend?
Obviously, the Alvarez-Kovalev rematch on ESPN Plus is this weekend. We will break it down tomorrow.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. Is Kovalev really done? Is he finished? We'll obviously, like Matt said, make our picks or whatever on that one. But yeah, I think light heavyweight, there was a lot of rumors before the World Boxing Super Series Season 2 came out that this was a heavily sort of touted division that was going to be in it. Unfortunately, they chose cruiserweights again when all the decent cruiserweights aren't really in it. But yeah, I think light heavyweight's looking pretty stacked at the moment and going to be some fun fights coming real soon.
Anyways, that seems like it's it because we don't have callers. I know our call lines are down. That's okay. It does happen. Sort of a quick show. Hey, those happen again. Usually we have like 2-hour shows minimum. It's nice to have just an hour one. Very quick housekeeping. Championship rounds, patreon.com/mixedcombat-radio. Go there now. The post is public. You do not need to be on Patreon to go see that post. Leave your question and topic, and I'll get to them tomorrow in the afternoon or evening on Championship Rounds, patreon.com/mixedcombat-radio. Rob, final thoughts. Where can people find you? Oh, quickly. Sorry, I do want to address this because I forgot to address it. PSK reminded me, and I actually do apologize for not mentioning it because I am a huge fan. George Groves does announce his retirement. I think it was yesterday via social media. Rob, quickly, a sort of like a favorite memory of George Groves that you have.
Favorite memory of George. I must admit, I absolutely just loved. Was it Chudinov? Was it Chudinov? He won the title after he had 4 cracks at the world title and he done it on the 4th time. I think it was Chudinov.
I think you're right.
In that, I keep forgetting the card it was on, but that was almost I was really pleased for the guy. I think early on in his career, some people you either loved him or you didn't because I don't know, all the Froch stuff.
It was great.
It was amazing. It was great. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. He sort of seemed a little bit, the famous, we're pulling across the table and the gloves are off, and
that was great. That was great. Come on, George Groves is a fucking legend. Okay, a fucking legend. Okay, best believe it.
And let's not forget, I know he ended up losing it, but putting Froch on his ass. Things like that, I think he can look back on his career and take a real pleased with himself. I think he's done well. He's ticked a lot of boxes that many other boxers won't get anywhere near doing and things like that. So, in an interview today with Coogan, with IFL, I think he seems quite comfortable with the decision. He almost said he's like a little bit relieved it's finally out there that he must have been thinking of this. Whether that shoulder hasn't been right, I haven't not really seen the full interview. I sort of did have it on earlier, but then blizzards came into effect. But yeah, no. Shout out to St. George Groves. Yeah, he's been a great sort of ambassador for British boxing and have a healthy, fun retirement.
And also, I mean, I think it needs to be stated over and over again. I don't think, I might go on a limb here. This might be controversial, even to our UK audience, and this is a very, I think, pro-UK stance I'm having here. I think Carl Froch and George Groves, that sort of saga needs to be credited more for the UK boxing boom. Because post Ricky Hatton, in my opinion, it felt like the UK, not necessarily died down a bit, but it got quiet in a way. Like 2010, 2015, UK was kind of quiet. Maybe 2014, actually. And then Froch Groves happened, and that electrified the world. The second fight basically pushed U.S. television to cover UK fights more. Like, there was a direct line there from HBO, I think it was HBO, picking up Froch Groves 2, and then picking up a Tyson Fury Vladimir Klitschko fight, then picking up, then wanting to pick up AJ fights, and then obviously Showtime picking up AJ fights. There is a connection there, and we don't get AJ Wembley 90,000 without Carl Froch, George Groves at Wembley in front of, what was it, 80,000, 70,000?
I think if you ask Carl Froch, he likes to repeatedly on telecast say, well, you know, when I was here, you know, look at AJ, he's taking it all in. But when I was here, you know, fought George Groves in front of 80,000 people and knocked him out in front of 8. You know, he likes to bring it up.
Carl Froch is a prick, and he's been actually kind of mean to George Groves in his retirement. But he's true. I just think that people like Joshua, people like White, people like everyone right now in the UK scene, Carl Froch, George Groves is the reason why everything is booming right now. You may not realize it. You may not make the one-to-one connection, but it is there. Yeah, it kind of lit the fuse. I think I remember seeing an interview and Eddie saying when I pitched this idea to my dad that we were going to do it at Wembley, he's like, "You sure? Jesus Christ, that's a lot of fucking tickets, son." And he's like, no, I think we can do it. I think we can. And he's like, "Oh, I don't know. But, you know, if that's what you're going to do, you know, I'll back you." And look, you know, what an event it was. And, yeah, like you say, it sort of lit the fuse. You know, would we be seeing boxing at Wembley Stadium had it not been for that? And seeing what a good fight or the right fighter or the right moment can do in the right sort of, you know, venue. So yeah, shout out, you know, and like you said, Froch kind of backhanded / dig / sort of compliment in retirement message, which has now resulted in him and Andre Ward going back and forth. That's been fun. No, we're heading out of here at that point now. We're not going to stay and talk about Andre Ward continuing to talk shit and not fight because he's retired and I don't care. Well, likewise, Froch. Yeah, but Froch is funny. I'll give that. Yeah, and even when Froch talks out of his ass, it's so obvious it's out of his ass that it then becomes funny to me because then I'm laughing at him. But anyways, digressing. Find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Final thoughts. AJ probably gonna fight Miller. Wilder, Fury probably gonna be at the Barclay Center. And the fights this weekend were fantastic. Cannot wait to break down the ones this weekend tomorrow. Make sure you guys hit the like button, share the show, subscribe. Rob, like I said, where can people find you? You can find me at UKRobMCR on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, let the world know we're here. I was in the DAZN press conference telling everyone we're here. I don't know if we've had a massive flux and, you know, intake of subscribers, but it's kind of on you guys as well. We can only, you know, do shows and put them out on Twitter and Instagram. It's not like we got a Fox network telling people we're here, so we rely on word of mouth. So if you guys can do your thing, share the show, hit the thumbs up, 5-star review on iTunes, you know, that'll be a real great help. But obviously, thank you to the Patreons. Thank you to our patrons on Patreon. You know, we had another episode of Boxing Banter over on there. Matt's got like he said, the post up there for championship rounds. You can post your questions for Matt. Anything. It's usually boxing and, you know, the odd MMA stuff. But, you know, Nigel's got personal in there before, asking him all kinds of, you know. I think she asked me like dating questions and. Yeah, she wants she wants the tea. You know, she wants that. Whoa. What did you just say? I said tea. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm glad you clarified. It did not sound like tea. It sounded like something else, and Nigel would have been very upset with you. Let me check the mic. Yeah, tea. Let me. I'll mime it at the same time just to help out. The tea. That might look weird too. Don't mime it. But yeah, so go check us out on Patreon. You know, as little as $1 a month really helps out. So yeah, catch you on the next one. Peace. Later.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
I said it last year. We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
Everybody's on steroids. The whole UFC. Everybody.
It's bullshit.
Where is this Burger King?
You know, they're selling you all Wolves tickets, people. You're eating them right up.
That's fucking illegal.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?